Just 2 days ago, we had a seismic shift to the AI industry that has brought some of the biggest market cap dumps that we have yet to see ever. Like, record-breaking loss, okay? Nvidia lost $589 billion in market cap this Monday, which is by far the single greatest one-day value wipeout of any company in history, more than doubling the $279 billion market cap loss by no other than Nvidia on September 3rd, 2024. And while Nvidia may hold the title for having the biggest market cap loss, it still holds the records for having the biggest wins too, like, don't get me wrong. But if you were to look at the last time Nvidia broke the record for having the biggest market cap loss back in September of 2024, it was attributed to the concern of the market being oversaturated and a broader fear of the health of the US economy. This time, the catalyst was the release of China's new open source AI model, Deepseek R1. For a long time, the United States was, and well, still very much is, the leader in AI, but with the new AI model released from China, it has a furious competitor. And it's not like they dropped like a mid-tier AI chatbot. They dropped a free open source model that's able to compete with the performance of the United States industry titans' best AI models. And with that not even being the sole reason that caused Nvidia's $589 billion loss, the real jaw dropper was the claim that DeepSeek was able to develop their AI model for just $5.6 billion, which may sound like a lot, but when you put it into the perspective, with the tens to hundreds of billions of dollars that OpenAI had invested to bring ChatGPT to where it was today, not to mention a $500 billion investment,
emotional damage
that Donald Trump, our president, signed off for Stargate
to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and
Stargate, it brings up a big question. How was DeepSeek able to make a world-class AI model with just 2,048 GPUs running for 57 days, with supposedly none of the top-of-the-line chips? So they claim. And they claim to have ran the model on the H800 chips for only 2.78 million GPU hours. And when you put this into perspective, with Meta needing 30.8 million GPU hours, okay? Roughly 11 times more computing power to train the Llama 3 model, which has fewer parameters at 405 billion. DeepSeek approach resembles a masterclass in optimization under constraints, working with the H800's GPUs. AI chips designed by Nvidia specifically for the Chinese markets with reduced capabilities, the company was able to turn potential limitations into innovation. And it's not like the H800 chips are so much weaker or anything, okay? To be fair, the H800 chips are, from what I've been hearing, pretty much the exact same thing. There's not really that much of a difference. Like, it's really, from what I heard, it's kind of the same hardware. They just bottlenecked it in some way to make it so they can sell it to China, because Nvidia needs to, Nvidia likes money, and so they want to sell good chips to China, but they want to also be favorable to the United States, and so they market as weaker, but it's not even supposed to be that much weaker from what I've. And for this next part, I was going to try explaining how they were able to train this AI model, but I think it would be best suited if I let Dave's Garage, a retired Microsoft engineer, explain it for me. And so here's a clip.
Let's unpack that, because at its core, Deepseek R1 is a distilled language model. When you train a large AI model, you end up with something massive, hundreds of billions, if not a trillion parameters, consuming terabytes of data and requiring a data center's worth of GPUs just to function. But what if you don't need all that power for most tasks? And that's where the idea of distillation comes in. You take a larger model like a GPT-4 or the 671 billion parameter behemoth R1, and you use it to train the smaller ones. It's like a master craftsman teaching an apprentice. You don't need the apprentice to know everything, just enough to do the actual job really well. Deepseek R1 takes this approach to an extreme. By using larger models to guide its training, Deepseek's creators have managed to compress the knowledge and reasoning capabilities of much bigger systems into something far smaller and more lightweight. The result? A model that doesn't need massive data centers to operate. But how does this work? Well, it's a bit like teaching by example. Let's say you have a large model that knows everything about astrophysics, Shakespeare, and Python coding. And instead of trying to replicate that raw computational power, Deepseek R1 is trying to mimic the outputs of the larger model for a wide range of questions and scenarios. By carefully selecting examples and iterating over the training process, you can teach the smaller model to produce similar answers without needing to store all that raw information itself.
And for those who are still confused why this is Nvidia's problem, for why OpenAI had DeepSeek's cojones dragged across his face, well, Nvidia's biggest companies are the AI tech giants, who are overinflated because of the prospect of them finding a way to monetize all the billions of dollars of research that they have done to get AI to where it is. And currently, OpenAI offers a $200 plan, which it reports it offers at a loss. How is OpenAI expected to cut the cost enough to compete with the free open source model, which can do the same thing, but more importantly, how does it justify its massive purchases of graphics cards from Nvidia to its investors? When China was able to achieve comparable model with levels of magnitude less capital invested? Well, that's a good question. I'm not sure I can answer that. And also, to play off a hypothetical, if OpenAI was able to innovate some crazy new model with even more advanced computational prowess, how long would it really last until DeepSeek pops his bubble once more?